Hello and welcome to our new series on how to learn Excel through a live project. So why we are calling it as live project? What do you mean by live project? Because we are going to learn Excel by creating a new expense tracking application from scratch. So our intention is that like we will be teaching every tools and techniques and concepts of Excel in a practical scenario, and together what we're going to do is to create a complete functional application. To help all type of users who are going to watch this video, we are going to keep the pace of this particular course a little slower so that everyone, whether you are a beginner or you are an advanced user, so you'll be able to understand all the concepts and implement it in your practical life. To help the advanced user, if you are an advanced user, you don't worry. So we are going to split this particular course into smaller components or episodes in which so every concept will be organized as a separate episode, even though the duration of each episode will be smaller, so that if you are already knowing that concept, you can always skip it. We haven't talking about the application, so you will be interested in knowing what that application is, right? So to give you an overview about the application, what we've done, so we have built that application with few features which may be of interest. But this is not going to be the final version which we are going to build. We have built only some 20% of what the application can do. But this itself, like you'll be able to learn more. But what about the remaining 70%? Let us build together. So let us jump and see how the application looks like and what are the features we can expect in that application. So what we are seeing here is the expense tracker application. This is an expense tracker workbook. A workbook is nothing else but a one file which consists of multiple worksheets. So in this workbook, if you see, there are three different worksheets. It's called expense tracker, expense head, and payment mode. So we are focusing now on the expense tracker, and this is a sheet in which a household member, maybe a housewife or a husband, will be entering their daily expense details. So if they when they are entering the expense details, let's assume like I'm going to enter a new expense detail. I'm going to create for 21 March 2024, and then if you actually look at like it says an expense head, it is not allowing me to enter anything. If you enter anything, like it says an error, so I can enter only from the list of approved expense heads, among which I can enter one. Let me just say I have bought some provisions or ration, so I paid it through my credit card. So I have multiple credit cards, but I'm selecting in through which credit card I have paid. And as soon as I selected the credit card, it displays to which bank that credit card belongs to. And then it is allowing me to enter some description. Maybe I will use this to say from where I have purchased from Smart Bazaar. So this is shop from which I purchased, but I'm writing it as a narration. So then it is allowing me to enter the amount which I spent towards that. Maybe I spent some 2,300. Okay. And it says as soon as I selected this provisions purchase, if you might have noticed, it has come with a planned frequency and planned budget. Okay, so let me delete this particular thing, and or I will write one more line entry on 22 3 2024. What I did is I paid for my water bill. As soon as I selected the water bill payment, it has provided something called planned frequency, that is monthly, and the planned budget is 500 rupees. So this I have paid through cash, for example. It has come as cash. I write whatever I want, and here I am paying some 200 Indian rupee, for example. Okay. Now, on the left hand side, you might have seen a serial number for all the four entries which I made. The serial numbers are blank. So I can either create a formula to fill it, but to make it very simple, I'm selecting one or two serial numbers from the previous rows and dragging it. And if you notice, it automatically fills with the next sequence number. So do you think that it is complex? No, it won't be complex if you are starting from the beginning and if you are part of our journey. Now let us explain few of the features which we have already implemented in this particular workbook. First, if you notice, there is a header which is a row which has a different color font and different font size and different background color. So we'll learn how to create one cell and format it according to our choice. Similarly, if you notice the header row, you might have noticed that also is having a different font size and different row height. Everything is different. And you also might have noticed that you have an option for filter and your option for sorting it, your option for filtering it based on a specific date, everything you have. And if you scroll down, you may also notice the header row up to row number 1 and 2 are always fixed and the remaining rows are only scrolling. Okay. And you can also see when I'm selecting it, it provides a choice to select for only for these two columns for expense headers and for mode of payment. And remaining, the bank is coming automatically and the plan frequency is coming automatically, plan budget is coming automatically. And now let us see where this expense head is coming from. You see home EMI, apartment monthly maintenance, all those things. So for that, the data is coming from this table called expense head. You see here home EMI, apartment maintenance, everything. So this table not only provides the data for your expense tracker to maintain the expense head, but if you notice, this is used for multiple other purposes. So it has a definition for your budget, a monthly budget, and the definition of how frequently that expense is going to be spent, whether it is a monthly or quarterly or annually, or it may be unplanned. And it also has an annual budget. Suppose your budget, monthly budget is 80,000, so it automatically multiplies it with the frequency, that is monthly means 12, quarterly means 4 times, and unplanned means it is not multiplying with anything, it multiplies by 1, and annually also it multiplies by 1. And similarly, if you notice annual expense, let us go to the annual expense in a while. If you see here, you go to the expense tracker, the expenses are made for January, February, and March. And go here in the expense tracker for every month, whatever you have spent is already calculated. If you look at row number 6, that is the electricity bill payment. For the month of January, he has spent 2,500. For month of February, the same 2,500. But for the month of March, he has spent 4,500. And you may wonder why 4,500 is coming as red. That is because in that month, he has spent more than what he has budgeted. So his budget is only 3,000 rupees per month, but he spent 4,500 rupees in the March. So it is showing it in red color. Okay. So what is an annual expense? So whatever it is a cumulative total of every month, whatever he has spent. 3 months he has paid the home EMI of 80,000 and it is total and shown over here. So here in this also you will be able to see not only the filter and sort feature, but you can also see your row total which is coming automatically. So every time, if you go to the March month, the total is coming as this amount. And if I'm removing these particular three entries in the March, so if I delete it, if you go to the expense header, the value will be changed automatically. And this 4,500 rupees is coming as red because he has spent more than the budget. If I'm going to this and say a little bit filter for the electricity bill payment, and this month he has spent 4,500. Instead, if I say it as 2,900, if I come over here, so it has become normal font with no red. So only if it is more than the budget, it goes to red. So let us revert back. Let us revert back to 4,500 and come back here. So it's once again it has become red. So it may be looking very complicated for you, but it is not if you're going through step by step, and we'll be building it together application. So we have created an expense tracker and we have some summary. So what we have spent per month against each expense header, and what is our achievement towards our planned budget. And similarly, like we have multiple payment modes like our credit cards, the UPI payments. For the people who are not from India, UPI is a payment gateway through which you can make your payment through mobile devices to any of your vendor. You may have a similar payment gateway apps in your own country, but UPI is India specific payment gateway. So we have a different payment mode. For each payment mode, we have set the limit, like what is the monthly limit per payment mode, and what we have achieved against this monthly limit. So all these things we can do analysis through multiple ways. We can do it through pivot chart, pivot tables, and creating simple graphs and charts. Let's see how we have implemented few graphs in it. Okay, first we have created only simple charts here to start with. We can, when we are going through the course, we will learn about how we can utilize multiple different types of charts available in Excel. So the first chart we are going to see here is against every expense header, what is our achievement against the budget. So the blue line, the blue bar are the annual budget, and the orange bar are what we have spent so far against the budget. So we can create it. And similarly, in the payment mode, we have created the pivot table. Payment mode, what is our achievement? So this is available here already, but there is yet another way of creating your own pivot table very easily. And we have created a graph against for every month. So the blue line is what is our monthly limit and how we have achieved against this monthly limit in for every payment mode we have defined. And if you can look at a pie chart also, in which you see we have spent most of our money through net banking 007, and then we have spent more with another bank account which ending with 137, and remaining your credit cards and the UPI and cash payments. This is what is a contribution. So like this we can do many things in this expense tracker application. Will progressively build more powerful an application with rich features. But before that, to start learning how to build this application, we need to be having some basic knowledge of the features of Excel. So in our next episode, we'll be covering few basics. We may have to take one or two sessions on covering all the basics. And then once the basics are all covered, we'll start with our exercise of how to create the expense tracker application. Hope this will be a very interesting journey for everybody. Let me welcome all one more time to this interesting journey. Thank you. Thanks for watching. And please support us by liking and sharing this video. And also, please feel free to provide your comments, and I will be responding it personally to every comment which I receive. Thank you. Thank you very much.